Jazmine Tan, YouTube's so-called girl's girl, has been on an absolute roller coaster. 1 minute, she's your empowering big sister, hyping you up with self-love and confidence tips.
Arrogance? Nuh-uh. You don't need that, baby girl.
The next, she's getting dragged for hypocrisy, faking social experiments, and, oh yeah,
Search for ugly boys.
Oh my god.
There's actual results. There's actual ugly boys.
subtly editing her own little sister's face because nothing screams love yourself like a slimming filter. And just when you think it couldn't get worse, spoiler alert, it does. Fake experiments, mean girl comments, contradictions so wild they should be studied in a psychology class. Jazmine Tan's influencer empire is crumbling fast. But how did she go from internet big sis to YouTube's latest controversy? And more importantly, is there any coming back from this? Stick around, because this is one influencer downfall you have to see to believe. Jazmine Tan didn't just stumble into fame, she engineered it. With over 2.2 million subscribers, she positioned herself as the ultimate big sister of YouTube. You needed confidence? Jazmine had you covered? You wanted to know how to be a girl's girl? She had a list of rules. And if you ever wondered why men weren't obsessed with you, she had an entire philosophy on that too.
Look, I can never be friends with women who don't understand girl code. These are the girl code rules that me and my best friends live by, that I think every girl should follow.
Ah yes, the ancient sacred text of girl code. I'm sure historians will be studying this for centuries. Jazmine had all the ingredients for viral success. She was charismatic, confident, and her takes were just controversial enough to keep people talking. She had a knack for packaging up digestible advice that, on the surface, seemed empowering. But here's the thing about influencers who build their brands on perfection. Eventually, people start looking a little closer. And once they did, well, let's just say, cracks in the foundation were a lot bigger than expected. So what happens when an influencer desperately wants to prove their point, but reality refuses to cooperate? Simple. You just make something up. Jazmine's so-called social experiment on Pinterest was supposed to be her grand revelation. The video went viral for proving that society treats men and women differently. But there was just one small issue. It was completely fake.
Now open Pinterest again.
Okay.
And then search for ugly boys.
Oh my god.
There's actual results. There's actual ugly boys results.
Wow, a conspiracy right under our noses. Except, spoiler alert, Pinterest doesn't actually work that way. If you search ugly girls, you get nothing. If you search ugly boys, you also get nothing. So how did Jazmine manage to prove her theory? Well, turns out, she manually created a Pinterest board full of images labeled ugly boys and pretended like they were actual search results. That's right, she just straight up faked it. And honestly, if you're going to fabricate an entire narrative, at least put some effort into it. This was like photoshopping a fake text message, but leaving your own name at the top. The problem here isn't just that she lied, it's what the lie represents. Jazmine's entire brand is built on female empowerment. Yet she consistently pushes content that tears men down under the guise of lifting women up. And as the internet would soon realize, this pattern of conveniently crafted narratives wasn't just a one-time thing. Let's talk about hypocrisy. Because if there's one thing Jazmine excels at, it's saying one thing and doing the exact opposite. Jazmine loves to talk about self-confidence, about how women should embrace their natural beauty, how beauty standards are oppressive. So imagine everyone's surprise when people noticed she was using a face-slimming filter on her little sister. Ah yes, self-love, except for when the camera loves you a little too much and you have to tweak reality. The thing is, Jazmine knows what she's doing. Her audience is young, impressionable, and looking up to her as some sort of self-confidence guru. But what does it say when even she doesn't fully practice what she preaches? You can't scream love yourself while actively editing reality to fit a very curated version of what self-love actually looks like. And that wasn't even the biggest contradiction. Because remember when she spent months pushing the whole "men are trash" narrative? Well, things got interesting when she suddenly decided that dating was back on the menu. Wait. What happened to all men are a waste of time? I must have missed the emergency girl code update, where we collectively decided that was no longer a thing. So, which is it? Are men an embarrassment, or are they just selectively tolerable when it benefits the narrative? Because at this point, Jazmine's ideology is starting to look less like feminism and more like whatever sounds good at the moment. And then came the moment where Jazmine's carefully crafted girl's girl persona started to collapse in real time. Oh, the horror. Imagine a woman gasp looking mature. Clearly, an unforgivable offense. So, just to recap, natural beauty is great, except when a 21-year-old dares to look like an adult. Aging is empowering, but also terrifying enough for Jazmine to get Botox at 25. Consistency? Never heard of it. But this wasn't just one offhand comment. This was the moment people really started questioning whether Jazmine was actually uplifting women or just tearing them down for the sake of content. And spoiler alert, the internet does not take kindly to hypocrisy. You know the saying, what goes around comes around? Yeah, well, Jazmine Tan's entire online presence just took a nosedive. And it wasn't a graceful cinematic fall. It was more like watching someone trip down an escalator in slow motion. Painful, awkward, and completely avoidable. As soon as people started connecting the dots, fake social experiments, contradictions, unnecessary jabs at women, the backlash came fast. Her once loyal fan base? Yeah, they weren't loyal anymore. Her comment sections turned into a battleground, with fans demanding explanations and others just straight up clowning her hypocrisy. And how did Jazmine respond to all this? With grace? With accountability? With a well-thought-out apology? Nope, she doubled down. Oh well, that settles it then. Everyone, pack it up. Jazmine still likes herself, so I guess everything is fine. Case closed. And just in case that didn't quite hit home, she had more to say, right? Because nothing says self-awareness like publicly roasting the very people you once claimed to want nothing to do with. But sure, let's pretend this was all part of the plan. Here's the thing, a non-apology is so much worse than an actual apology. Because when you get caught being fake, doubling down just makes you look even faker. The internet might forgive one mistake, maybe even two. But an entire career built on contradictions, backtracking, and fake empowerment? Yeah, that's not the kind of thing people forget. And it's not just about Jazmine's personal reputation. It's about the message this sends. If you build a platform on self-love but secretly promote insecurity, if you talk about girl code but have no problem tearing down other women, if you tell your audience to never chase men but then do a 180 when it suits you, at some point, people are going to stop listening. The shift in her audience's reaction was immediate. Fans who once flooded her comments with "Yas Queen" and "Preach" were now hitting her with a brutal reality check. So, the question remains, can Jazmine Tan make a comeback? Well, let's break it down. The influencer redemption arc. We've seen it a million times before, haven't we? Step 1. Disappear for a strategic amount of time. Long enough for people to forget, but not too long that they move on completely. Step 2. Return with a highly produced apology video, preferably with soft piano music and a few deep sighs for dramatic effect. Step 3. Reinvent yourself. Maybe drop a podcast. Maybe go on a self-reflection journey. Either way, make sure the audience feels like you've grown without actually holding yourself accountable. Now, will Jazmine follow this exact script? Most likely. But the real question is, will people buy it? Because here's the thing, people don't just want an apology, they want change. They want actions that prove you've actually learned something. And so far, Jazmine hasn't exactly shown that she's capable of self-reflection. Instead of owning her mistakes, she's chosen to gaslight the audience into thinking they're the problem. Instead of apologizing for the Pinterest lie, she's ignored it completely. Instead of admitting that her self-love brand was riddled with contradictions, she's probably brainstorming another viral short to distract from it. And honestly, that might work for a little while. But the internet has a long memory, and once you've lost people's trust, it's almost impossible to get it back. So, what's next for Jazmine Tan? Will she follow the typical influencer redemption arc? Will she keep pretending nothing happened? Or will she actually, and I know this is wild, genuinely reflect on her actions and make a real change? Let me know what you think in the comments. Can she bounce back from this? Or is her brand permanently canceled? And while you're here, check out my deep dive on another influencer who never saw their downfall coming. Trust me, you'll want to see this one.